So I want to sit there and talk about the group called PTI, or Protect the Innocent. Now, I've been watching their videos for about a good month and a half, and for the most part, I enjoy their videos. I don't think I've missed one video so far. So I'm a huge supporter of them as far as their catches and things like that. The one glaring problem that I'm having with this group, and this is something that I've been having issues with a lot of these predator catching groups. When they want to sit there and announce what this person's done to everyone in the store or everyone in the area. I've always had issues with that for a couple of reasons. One, let's say somebody in the crowd decides to attack this person. They're responsible. They're liable. And if a lawyer or a judge or anything like that sees that, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's number one. On top of the fact that usually these groups are there to sit there and be like, hey, listen, we're recording to make sure nothing happens to you and this, that, and the third. But yet they'll sit there and be like, well, this person's there to do this, that, and the third. It's like, if they hit this person, that's going to be on you. The reason I'm sitting there talking about this particular problem is because it comes to a full head in the latest video where they confront this guy at some sort, at his job. Now, the catch is fine for the most part. They confront him and, they're talking to him at this point, telling him what he's done and what's wrong and all that stuff. But it doesn't really seem like it's fully sinking in with this guy, and he starts to walk off, and then they follow him. Now, at this point, the manager comes in. I'm going to be honest. I understand the fine lines of they're protecting your employees, but I feel like you should have a different energy when you find out your employee is, engaging in activities or want to engage in activities with minors. This guy acted like a full blown Karen. I mean, he was all up in her face. He was meant to trying to act like a tough guy. I didn't like the way that this guy was acting. I didn't like the way that his coworkers were acting. Pulling out their cell phones, being more upset with her and the group rather than the person, their employee that's out there trying to engage with, sexual acts with minors. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? You have one employee where you have your mask on and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, boo, you're more upset and more concerned with her mask than you are about the dude that you work with that's out there trying to do God knows what with other people's children. This goes on for a while. And this is when I don't know if she has a name or whatever, but this is when she decides to start yelling and shouting to everyone in the store what this person's there to do. Now she starts yelling and cursing and using sexual language, and I'm like, other people, there's kids around you. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be sitting there yelling and cursing around other people's children. So now at this point, you have the crowd that's sitting there getting upset, and somebody was like, "Yo, like my child is here. Like you're sitting there yelling and screaming and cursing in front of my damn child. Are you kidding me?" And instead of her apologizing, and be like, "Hey, listen, I understand where you're coming from. My bad. It's just, we're out there. We want to protect the community. We want people to be aware of what employees are working here." Instead, she gets upset with the woman and kind of brushes it off. And then she goes a step further. Okay. Her and her group decides to go into the break room because at this point, the pred goes in the break room. They go in there too. Now, granted, you already are in a privately owned store and they're telling you to leave, and you decide to go in that break room where you're not allowed to go. So eventually the cops come in, they're outside, and two cops, at the wall, it's two of them. And one of the cops wants to sit there and arrest them. Now, one of it is over some BS charge about her allegedly pushing this guy. But when you watch the tape, you can clearly see that this guy, like, bumped into his manager on purpose. Now they're all like, oh, she assaulted one of our workers. And it's just like, bro, stop. Especially there's just one Karen in the store that's more worried about her wearing a mask and everything like that than, the fact that there's a Pret in the store that you're shopping in. Anyway, they get outside, and this is when one of the cops tries to level with her. You know, he's like, listen, I get it. I'm a father. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. But he does sit there and say there has to be a better way than you yelling and cursing in front of other people's children. One of the customers, he was at the same complaint that his daughter got upset, got scared that this woman is not there yelling and cursing and stuff like that. Now, there's a point in this video where she tries to justify her actions for why she feels pretty much it's okay for her to be yelling and cursing and screaming in front of other people's children. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, that part actually pissed me off. That part pissed me off because she's not there trying to compare her action to, if a cop would sit there and arrest somebody in the store and tackle them and they're yelling and everything like that. And I'm like, I get where you're going with this, but you're not going to be able to sit there and justify you yelling and cursing and making a scene, which, by the way, they were going to get arrested for public disturbance. And there's one point where she's sitting there asking the cop, like, whoa, like, what did I do exactly? I'm like, well, you were there. What do you mean, what did you do? Like, literally everyone in the store is not there telling you what you did wrong and the fact that you're yelling and cursing and stuff like that. And, the cops are pretty cool about it, okay? Because one of the guys was like, yo, listen, he wants y'all to go to jail. I'm here to make, I'm seeing this whole thing. And he put a stop to that. He just basically was like, we're just going to give you a trespassing thing. You could just be on your way. So they do that. And, later on the mom comes in and, they have a talk or whatever. But this is something that I've always had a problem with. I mean, it's one of the many things I've had a problem with groups, but particularly this whole, as Dap like to sit there and say, excuse me, everybody. Because, again, you don't know how somebody's going to react. And as much as I support what they do, I don't like the fact that they're yelling and cursing in front of other people's children. And then trying to find what, and the thing is, this isn't the first time in her videos that she's done that. She's done that in other videos as well. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I get her passion. I get the fact that she's not worried about getting arrested. She's not worried about getting into a fight with someone. I mean, this guy was all up in her face. And I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? So I admire and respect her fearlessness and her dedication. Um, And I've seen pretty much all their videos so far. So before anyone, before somebody sits there and come on my channel, I'm like, I can't believe you're sitting there hating on them, or I still get tons of flack for my video that I did about a year and a half ago with Dap. Asking did they go too far? And I feel like the people that come on here, some of the people that come on here and get all upset, either they don't watch the whole video, they just read the title, and it's like you're completely missing the point of what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I'm a huge supporter of all these groups. Oh, even when Alex first started, he was definitely rough around the edges. With the cursing, with the racial comments, the homophobic comments and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I still supported him. I still supported him because no matter what Alex was doing, no matter how bad his videos would get as far as like some of the stuff that will come out of his mouth, these people that he was catching was 1,000 times worse. So I've always supported Alex, even though I didn't always like his tactics. And for the most part, like even with Josh, with Dap or whatever, like he understands that I'm not sitting there trying to make these videos to make like hate videos or talk dirty about them or anything like that. But I do feel like it is important to sit there and talk about some of these groups because at the end of the day, you can always support them. You can always sit there and support these groups, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like every single thing that they do. You know, it's okay for you to sit there and be like, "Well, I didn't like this about this video. I didn't like that about that video." A lot of times, this isn't always a black and white situation. A lot of times people be like, "Oh, you're a pedo defender, and you're a pedo defender," and it's like, bro, you do realize that you don't necessarily have to like everything somebody do and still support them. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below about the group. Protect the innocent. What do you think of the work? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you disagree? Why? Why not? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.